Morena, morena, kia ora, tēnā koutou. For those of you who are joining us, watching our live stream this morning, Ata Marie, Te Aorangi and I here with you all today. And we have got our fabulous and stunning tuakana, Liana Poutu, joining us. Morena.
Morena.
Te Aorangi, kia ora.
Ata Marie e te whānau koutou e wakarongo mai nei, e mātakitaki mai nei ki te Korimako o Taranaki. Ai ko mātou tēnei e mihi ka atu ki koutou katoa.
Kia ora, kia ora. It's beautiful to be on live this morning with you two, my fabulous, stunning tuakana, Liana Poutu and Te Aorangi Dylan e te Iwi. Now, Liana joins Te Aorangi and I here as one of our Iwi leaders. Te Aorangi is as well. So we're quite lucky because we've got both the North and the South here today. So Liana, the chair of Te Kotaitanga o Te Atiawa, and our Te Aorangi from Te Korowai o Ngā Ruahine. We're going to have a little kōrero about the latest updates with regards to COVID-19. Nā, kua tai mai tēnei ngangara ki roto i a mātou o te maunga nei. Koe ko te kaupapa matua i tēnei wā. Nō reira, ka aropu atu rā kia koe te tuakana e Liana. Ka tahi, ka rua, ka tuku e mā te Aorangi e te pātai e tuku ki a koe mo tēnei kaupapa.
Ka pai. Ngā mei, tēnā tātou. The last 24 hours have been a bit hectic, to say the least. Engari, oi te tuatahi ka tika me mihi ki a tātou. Ahakoa e noho ana tātou kihia, e me i ana me ngā manaakitanga me te arohanui ki rungi a tātou katoa i tēnei wā. So last night it was reported in the media that there are some positive cases here in Ngamotu. We know that there's a direct link to that whānau to a case in Rotorua. So there's a lot of mahi being done behind the scenes with the public health team at the moment trying to set that up. And so overnight we've been working with Tui Ora, who's our Māori hauora provider here in Ngamotu, to establish some additional support. So we just really wanted some time to get that out, pānui that out to our whānau this morning. So the key thing really is around testing and vaccination. So we know there are positive cases. They're still looking at where the places of interest are. We know that Devon Intermediate is one of those places of interest, and more will come out today. So we're really encouraging whānau that have symptoms or may be feeling unwell to come in and get tested, just so that we can check around our whānau to make sure that we're all okay. So there's the main testing site at the TDHB at Taranaki Base Hospital, and that entranceway is off Tukapa Street, and it heads down Borel Ave. So if you're familiar with that, you'll know. I think the lines are well down Borel Ave at the moment. So that station is open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. tonight. So it's open for a long time. So if you need to get tested, go there. We're also standing up a pop-up drive-through testing clinic in Marfell. So we know that as a precaution, Marfell Kura has been closed, as well as Te Kōpai Piripono, which shares the same site. And so we've set up a pop-up drive-through testing station there. So those of you that know Marfell well, there's two entrances to Endeavour Street. So the way that we're running that site is you're going to enter in to Endeavour Street from Blagden Road, which is down the bottom of the hill there. You'll go up and there's a little sort of pull-in area at the kura, right beside the kura, where the testing will be done, and then the exit point will be Omata Road. So it's a nice little easy loop there. There's traffic management in place, so that will help guide our whānau. And that's been run by Tui Ora and some of our iwi kaiarahi. So our whānau are there to tautoko you and support you through that testing site. And that's operating from 10:30 onwards. So we'll go as long as we need to, whānau. So if you need to be tested, please rock up to that site. It's a drive-through site again, and there'll be our whānau there will be on the ground to help you. Also, there's the usual testing site in Te Hawera at the hospital there. So the normal sites are operating as they do, but we've stood up this extra one in Marfell specifically, and at the TDHB, they're operating for longer hours. So I guess just really on the vaccination side, if there's a time to get vaccinated, whānau, if you're still sitting on the fence, still have pātai, or you still haven't managed to get there, now's the time to do it. And the vaccination clinics will be up and running. As per usual, we've got our one in Whaitara at the Ngāti Rāhiri office there, next to New World. That's there. There's the main one on Powderham Street, as well as Ngāti Ruanui Health Centre in Te Hawera. So all of those normal vaccination clinics are running, and they're walk-ins now, whānau, so you don't need an appointment, just rock on up. And as I say, now's the time to be vaccinated. Just specifically for our tui ora clients, tui ora whānau, they will be running drive-through testing at the Maratahu Street for tui ora clients from 12 p.m. today, as well as they've got their vaccination available there for tui ora clients as well. So I think those are the arrangements we've put in for today. And we'll obviously be planning for the weekend depending on what comes out today. But that's the main updates, I think. I'm sure you'll let me know, sisters, if there's questions.
Tēnā koe e te tuakana mō o kupu wakamiha I tēnei ata. Hey, sis, people are just wondering, does the traffic light system stay the same? Do we stay in orange at this point in time?
Yep, traffic light system is the same. So we've had there's been no communication that will change. So obviously it's the first day of traffic light system, which is we're in orange at the moment. So that will absolutely stay the same until we get word otherwise, and obviously we'll pānui that out when we know.
Ka pai. And can we expect a regular update, I guess, throughout the day, or will there at some point in time should the situation change for us?
Yeah, so there'll be the normal announcements, so how they make the daily announcements, there'll be those announcements that come out. I think the key for us in Ngā Motu right now is understanding where those locations of interest are. So, and that information will come out throughout the day. So we'll definitely be updating as much as we can throughout the day, but probably it won't be till a bit later on in the day when we'll have a better picture of what those locations of interest look like. So I think just keep watching the social media. So our Kotahitango Te Atiawa site, Tui Ora, who we're working with in terms of our response on the ground here. And and obviously Korimako will share some of that too.
Ka pai. And a question that's come in from none other than Renee Wright. Do you know what the rationale behind staying in orange is, basically? How many people have to contract COVID to go from orange to red? Do we know that answer?
Well, I don't really know that answer, but what I do know is that those aren't decisions that are made by us. They're made by Director General of Health, Public Health, MOH, and what I understand, there's a whole lot of factors. Vaccination rates is one factor. How widely spread close contacts is a factor, and how many cases, but I don't know the details of how many we have to get before it changes or anything like that. But those decisions are made at Ministry of Health level.
Ana, kia ora rawa atu. And we know that you're busy, Liana, we know you're busy. I know you're probably supposed to be in a hui right now, actually.
Yeah, we just got a little thing called an AGM tomorrow.
Actually, that's a good point. There are parts of life that are just going to have to carry on at this point in time. Nā reira, kei te mihi ki koutou o te atiawa, kei te kawe tonu, I ngā āhuatanga o kui o koroma, and getting that AGM out to the people is a major. So do you want to add anything about the AGM?
Just that we're really grateful right now that we chose to go to an online platform really early. And so our AGM is going ahead as planned. And just check our website, check our Facebook page for how to register for that. So, yeah. It's just mahi as usual for us, apopo for our AGM, whānau.
Ka pai, tēnā koe ka tuku ki a koe I nei Tams.
Tēnā koe, kei te tautoko katoa haui ngā mahi ki a koe, kei te tuakana Liana. Thank you, Te Aorangi, beautiful pātai as well. And thank you, Whai Renee. It's always awesome to see you. Ngā mahi ki a koutou. Thank you, Liana, and all the very best for the AGM apopo. Absolutely awesome report as well for Te Kotaitanga o Te Atiawa. Proud of you and all of your beautiful mahi that you do for us. Aroha nui ki a koe, sis. I hope today is beautiful for you.
Ana, kia korua, kia tātou katoa. Me I ana.
Tēnā rau atu koe. Kia hoki anōna kia tāua. Te Aorangi me ngā mei kia koe. Fabulous to have Leo on to kickstart our conversation this morning.
Yes, yeah, and it's quite. We're getting used to this traffic light system. So this time probably 4 months ago, had we have had one case in Taranaki, we know it probably would have gone straight to a level 4 lockdown. So we have to start getting used to what this looks like for us now. Lockdowns aren't, they haven't been taken out of the picture completely, but at this point in time, we're still in the orange light system. And as Leo just said, we don't know what it will take to get us to red, and then what could possibly happen, what has to happen for us to go into an actual lockdown. So right now, I would just say to everybody, have a look at all of the tiles that you see on social media, or go to the MOH websites. And that's where you're going to get the actual kōrero whānau, especially for our locations of interest, because there's quite a bit of kōrero swirling around out there on where our locations of interest are. But actually, unless they're up on the reputable websites, then they're probably not necessarily the true locations of interest. So as Leo was saying, they're working through that. They're working through that with the whānau. And just want to send our mihi to the whānau too at this point in time, ACES, that have contracted this ngangara. Everyone's here to tautoko you guys through this as well. Nā reira, kia kahara, kia kahara.
Beautiful. Tautoko. I mean, this will be very, very, very hard for them as well. The last thing that we need is a whole lot of people being mean to them. I saw a couple of posts this morning, borderline, kia tupato rai e te iwi, kia mai atonu ki te tukui o koutou aroha ki tēnei wānau. We would not like this to be us, would we? So we want to be treating people how we wish to be treated as well. And we want to send all of our aroha to the wānau at this time for a speedy recovery. And we're all here to tautoko you. So, sis, what do you think are some really important key messages for our wānau at this time? Because I feel really sorry for people at the moment that are writing and saying, we don't want to leave home now, why can't we have a lockdown, etc. What are some key messages that you'd like to share with our wānau at this time?
I would just say, whatever your COVID tikanga is in your whare, stick to that. We're relatively safe at this point in time as long as we all stick to whatever our tikanga are, as long as we are sanitising, whenever we go somewhere, as long as we are wearing our masks, and if you go somewhere, make sure that you are scanning in or keeping your own record, because I know there's a lot of people out there who just are not going to use that scanning system. Kei te pai tērā, if you've got an alternative, then definitely use that. keep your own personal record, maybe a journal. Myself, useless at that stuff. Admin's not a strong point. So easier for me just to scan it, and then I feel like, oh, I've done my bit. But yeah, if you're thinking about your tamariki and things like that, then it's up to you. It's really up to you guys how you put your plan in place. Everything else is just support. But there are some things that we should really be doing, and that is the sanitizing, the hygiene practices, wearing your mask when you're in close quarters with others. And yeah, just it's common sense in a way. Bano, if you had a cold, what would you do? You wouldn't go out because you wouldn't want to spread it, right? You definitely wouldn't go around your kaumātua because you don't want them to get sick. So it's just all of those sorts of things that we've been hearing for a long time now. How do we put it into a plan that suits our own whānau? Just action it. Yeah.
Awesome. What awesome advice. Thank you so much, sis. If I was to ask you, just straight off the bat, about this orange, I've pulled it up for us to have a look at, Life at Orange. What do you know about Life at Orange, sis? Straight off the bat.
That's a very good question. What do I know about Life at Orange? You can actually still travel around at Orange. So, I would be thinking about that too, because sometimes these are just guidelines. It doesn't mean that you should just go out and do that. I would be definitely limiting my unnecessary travel. Tell me more about Life at Orange. I'm too used to looking at a tile in front of me or something that tells me about it.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's why I thought I'd just ask you what you know about Life at Orange straight off the bat, because honestly, sis, I don't know anything. I personally don't know about Life at Orange without having to look at our prompts and our tiles, because Taorangi and I have to share this kōrero and be absolutely pedantic in our messaging so that we're not adding in our own kōrero. If someone wants to ask me at random, what is Life at Orange, without looking at my tile and the facts, I wouldn't probably be able to tell you. So Life at Orange, this is what I wanted to say about that, though, is how about Life at Orange also with community transmission and community cases, Miki, of COVID-19? That changes everything. So
it totally does. I 100% I agree with you there. Sis, the community transmission does put a whole other spin on it. And I guess it's kind of like when we were in level 3 and the push or the advice for Māori was to act like you were at level 4. So maybe that's what we do in regards to the traffic light system. So we are in orange, but we act like we're in red. And actually, for those of you who feel like you want to be in a level 4 lockdown right now, because there's many who don't, but for those of you who do, there's no reason why you can't adopt some of those practices. I think, it's just all about staying safe in your miru, in your bubble. And I think if people understand and they know what your tikanga is, it's only really respectful for them to, abide by what your tikanga is when they come into your bubble. Because really all that we can control is what we do. We can't control what anyone else is doing around us. So yeah, that would be something I would say in regards to the orange. And I've just got the tile up. And so what it says is retail, public facilities, schools, workplaces open, but with limits. Scanning and face masks required in most outdoor, indoor or highly populated public places. With vaccine certificates, no limits on hospitality, events, gyms, gatherings, close contact businesses. Without vaccine certificates, contactless hospitality, gatherings limited to 50 events, and gyms restricted. So there you go, whānau. I think I really do think that most of these sorts of things are put in place just to give us a guideline of, because some people don't think about that stuff, I think common sense will kick in, really. If you want to stay home, do that.
It's a lot to consider, though, wasn't it? I mean, we were warned, though, that life at the Orange, there would be community transmission of COVID-19. It just came a day earlier because we all moved into the traffic light system at 11:59 p.m. Last night. So we've woken up today. We're all in karaka today here in Taranaki, but be mindful of the fact that we are a life at Orange traffic light system as well as community cases of COVID-19. Also, please keep an eye out on our Te Korimako Taranaki Facebook page throughout the day. Te Aorangi and I and Auntie Di and our boss will be, and others will be updating as we receive important information. So, yeah, don't get a fright if you see Te Aorangi and I needing to jump on again at some point between now and Monday. So we're keeping a very close watch near this in terms of what's happening in our communities here in Taranaki. Also, the confirmation of locations of interest isn't out yet, the official list. We definitely, we have some information, but we want to make sure, like Te Aorangi said earlier, we want to make sure that it's official information from the MOH, and then we can put those messages out to our people. Te Aorangi kei aku, my sis, we've got a wakataitai kei te haere.
We do. We have a wakataitai whānau. E2 whānau have graciously donated 4 $50 Pack and Save vouchers to hand out to people who have been nominated by their friends, by their whānau, and they've been entered into this competition, probably unknowingly to them, to the person who has been nominated. So Tamzyn and I have been given the opportunity to have drawn 2 winners to announce on our show, and Auntie Di, Lady Di, will be back with Te Wāpā Rekereka between 12 and 2 today, and she will be drawing some winners also. So Tamzyn and I, yes, we have drawn 2 winners this morning. So yeah, how do we want to do this, sis? Do we want to get a drum roll, please? Or well, I actually do have a drum kit right there, and if Mike was here, he probably would have done it for us. But let's go. Shall I just go with it, sis, and announce them?
Absolutely. Yeah, you do it how you want to do it, sis.
All right, team. I don't know if you can hear my drum roll, but it's coming. Ding. Okay, so our winners this morning who've been drawn by Tamzyn and I. The first one is Rahuia Hohaia McLeod. You are the winner of a $50 Pack and Save voucher. Ngā mihi nui ki koe. Congratulations, Rahuia Hohaia McLeod. And the second winner being drawn, who has been drawn by Tamzyn and I, is Shania, however, if I've pronounced it wrong, Shania Ngaya. Congratulations to you both. We will be in touch with you both very shortly on how you can claim your voucher this morning. So that was run by E2 Whānau in association with us, Te Korimako Taranaki, and wanting to share some joy and happiness during the Christmas holidays with you all. So a $50 Pack and Save voucher. It's all yours, team. E mihi ana. That's something nice, eh?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, beautiful. It is nice to give it, especially at this time of the year, sis.
Yeah. And I'm like, I'm in the Christmas spirit this year, sis. I'm into it. I've been telling you, no, we're going to dial back the Christmas this year, but I'm just feeling like I need some festive cheer. So that's what it is, whānau. So there you go. Shania and Rahuia will be in touch very soon, letting you know how you can redeem your prize.
How cool. We actually, you know what, sis? We actually could have shared that. My bad. I just seen that I could share screen. To show you.
Really?
Yeah, I could. Oh, here we go. Well, maybe I'll try. See if we can get it up. Oh, there we go. Can you see that, sis? Yep. Can you see that one? The screen?
Yes. Oh, cool. There you go.
I should have put that up earlier, but yeah, there you go. There's the competition. So just so everyone knows that we didn't just make those names up and
No,
they really are
there.
our wānau, and there they are. Lots of support there coming through too, sis, for Shania Ngaia. So congratulations to you and to Rahui Awohai McLeod. Congratulations to you both. So Taorangi and I just for, hey, there we go, and for accountability purposes, just so we're very clear here, there is the competition. Taorangi didn't just make that up, e te iwi. There it is, right up there on the Korimako o Taranaki Facebook page. So tēnā pai rawa te tira e te whānau. How cool was that, sis?
Yes, very cool. Hey, sis, I've just got a pānui to go out to. Te korowai o Ngā Ruahine in conjunction with Ngā Ruahine Iwi Health Services. They have a pop-up saliva and nasal testing clinic happening right now, actually, 10 a.m. e te whānau in Manaia at the old St. Cuthbert's Church, Patukukupa Street. Get out there if you want to get tested today. And just a tip, if you're going to get the saliva test, then you need to have not eaten, drinking, tēnā pai taku reo Pākehā. You can't eat, drink, smoke, vape, or brush your teeth within an hour of getting that saliva test. Okay, whānau, so get out there. And also you'll see down in Pātea at the Pātea Area School right now, also the Vax and Yaks team is down there. And you can get down and see by Deb Ma at that clinic. So come out to Manaia or down to Pātea today to whānau.
You've been doing the saliva testing there, sis?
Yeah. Started with the saliva testing. I think we've all got kits now, us, Ngāti Rōnui and Tuiora, so able to stand up and do this for the whānau without too, just without anything impeding on us doing things quickly. So yeah, e mihi ana. Let's do this.
Awesome. Look at Te Aroha. It's the sis for me.
Cheeky.
Morena, yes, it is. We're tino Māori around here. Definitely the sis for us. Thank you, Gaz. Thank you, Gary Tiwaka. He'll be over at Wit doing some mahi over there. Sis, how was you in general? I didn't even ask you. How was your week there in Taranaki ki te tonga?
I think it is a bit like yours, sis. We've both been on a bit of a grind, and I've still got a little bit of stuff to do in regards to a project that I'm working on. So I'm getting there. Today is the day it's going to be finally finished. And like I've been saying, or we've been saying for the whole year, once December rolls around, things might ease off a bit. So yeah, it's been good because we're really just trying to prepare down here for these sorts of things. When there is community transition, still doing the kids, living life and things like that. But no, it's been pretty life as usual down here, sis. Yeah. I'd say thank you.
Right, because you're on your PACE project. You're on your PACE project now.
So I've finished my postgrad stuff just like a week ago, but I'm doing a research project. Yeah, so I've just got a little bit to tidy up, then I'm done.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Just, for those of you who didn't know, Te Aorangi and I, we're both doing our masters at the moment, as well as whatever else we've got to do in life in general things. But it's hard. It's actually really hard to do your masters and work and all at the same time. It's not the mahi that's hard as such. It's the time management, and also, it's easier said than done. People say, oh, you've got to prioritize your time into me. You can't just drop certain things. It's not as easy as that. You don't know unless you're in it.
Yeah, I'm really self-reflecting on that, eh? I'm like, really? Is it that easy? When people say just prioritize, I'm like,
it's really not.
I don't know.
If you look back, would we have dropped something that we did? No, looking back, I wouldn't have. Everything that we've done has been for a purpose and a the intention and for the kaupapa. So I wouldn't change a thing, really. It's not easy though. It's been tough, but oh my goodness, it can be done. We're doing it. So anyone who's planning on joining for maybe signing up to do your masters for 2022. You got nothing to lose. Go for it. Bit of sleep, so
yeah, absolutely. I fully recommend it. It's been, I mean, I was talking with Lola about this the other day actually, and Julianne, and I was saying, I just don't enjoy it while I'm in it at all. But at the end, the rewards far outweigh, the in the moment stuff of like, oh my gosh, is this like, what? Can this get harder or what? But yeah, it's a massive commitment. It's definitely a massive commitment, and especially the sacrifice because you're watching everyone, like even like watching movies and stuff like that. And you're like, man, I want to do that too. I just can't do that right now.
Movie and eat popcorn. I want to do that. Like, but we're leaving. We're sort of helping towards the literature space as well for the future, and just leaving like it's sort of like leaving journals really. And it's time lock that's in that space. Yeah, well, not time lock, but like later on, 50 years down the track, 60 years, 100 years down the track, our mukapuna, the unborn mukapuna to come, can go, oh, that's what happened then. That's Nanny's account, or that's Auntie or whatever. And we're just sort of leaving those sort of little pieces of information from, from the world, from our world views, the way that we're seeing it and living it out, really, because it's a lot of lived experience stuff too, which is beautiful. But backing that up with, academia is not always easy, but we can create new academic literature as well and leave that, sow some seeds, and hopefully it will be of some relevance in time to come. I mean, what's beautiful about our journey, Nessus, well, it's not beautiful, it's actually extremely frightening, but it's a fact that we are living right now through a pandemic. So that we're writing our masters, our thesis, our dissertations, etc., through a pandemic is also adding a bit of fuel there. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I actually thought about that the other night, and I was thinking, man, like, is this what you do when you're living through a pandemic? Like, who are we just conditioned to sort of just working our nono off instead of sort of just going with what's happening? But yeah, it's definitely been different. I feel like I'm quite, I've reached my capacity in regards to what I can put out in the academic space. And I don't know if I've got used to writing like academically or researching academically. I don't know. I guess I must have done okay at it because I've finished. But yeah, it's definitely, I think it's a space that maybe I'll get used to, but it's still a space that I'm sort of accepting that that I can do it, I guess. Yeah, I'm still in that acceptance stage of the work that I'm putting out. It's like, oh, okay, it must be good enough. It's just a strange place to be when it's not something that you were looking to be a part of and you didn't know if it was, your thing. But yeah, I agree. Doing it through a pandemic, lots of room for self-reflection around that one, sis. Lots.
Yeah, absolutely. I was actually quite, and I was really happy to do the literature review. That's the one that I've just finished now, because it was nice to see that actually, there's not a lot of, how do I word it without saying that? I don't want to diminish new works to come. You know what I mean? So preempt that, they're going to be irrelevant or insignificant, because that's not true. We need a lot. There are still a lot of gaps in the literature, particularly around Taranaki worldviews as well. And, what our Taranaki worldview is on a lot of issues and a lot of kaupapa.
Yeah.
But I think we're quite lucky in the fact that we've got a lot of, transcripts, historical accounts, and historic, events that have happened in Taranaki that have left, gems and milestones and te tauito, karakia tauito, etc. for us as well. Yes. But it's about feeding in now because of, since the turning of the century, what else can we add to the literature? Because we don't want to say we live in that legacy only. We need to add to it, create new legacy, new opportunities for legacy to be, to evolve as well, so that we're not just always going back to the 1800s. There comes a certain point. There's got to be a turning point where we keep on saying, we want to affect change. We want to change the world. But at what point do you just do it? At what point do you just start to change the world without having to keep? Because of course we'll always go back. We're always going to go back there. Firmly fixed, all of that. Looking at where we're at currently with the pandemic, to the future as well. And people need to not be afraid, I feel, to share what your aspirations are, your own, personal goals and dreams and aspirations. Share them with everybody, and let's see how we can all feed in to each other.
I think you really hit it when you said, we're at this turn of the century, what's the literature going to look like? Do we keep going back to the 1800s? Because at some point in time, everyone moves on, right? Like there was Titoko Waru, but there was others before him. So there's a record of their ancestral history, but at some stage we only go back so far. So imagine in 100 years' time, I suppose you're right. Like someone might pick up what we've written. It's crazy to think that way, but yeah, absolutely. I fully tautoko that kōrero, Tams.
I suppose, sorry, my sis.
Carry on.
Oh, he mihi tēnei kia koe, hini mati oro kei te tuakana. Tēnei māua ko te Aorangi o te tai au aure, mihi atu kia koe. I te aranga mai o te rā, sending love over to our wānau over in te tai rā, o te hini mati oro e kore panga mai kia koe. Thank you. So what I was thinking when you were talking then, sis, was around maybe when we're writing our dissertations and our thesis and creating new theory as well, maybe we are writing to our unborn mokopuna to come. And maybe we're thinking about what they'll be reading through their eyes. Because sometimes I was thinking when I was writing a couple of my assignments this year, man, how do I incorporate academic, other people's thoughts? Because, you have to reference, you've got to have X amount of citations and to me. I don't want other people's thoughts to sort of, influence my thinking. Well, I do, obviously, because that's why I'm reading their literature. But I also want to, how do we allow room for ourselves to add our own thoughts and feelings? Because do you know what I mean, sis? To our writing.
Oh, absolutely.
How was it for you, like writing to the academic space from your point of view?
Yeah, because I'm quite I think my style of writing is very storytelling-ish. And so I can easily get stuck in the story, I guess, and then realize, oh gosh, actually I'm not just supposed to be writing from my own point of view. I'm supposed to be kind of proving where I've got all of this from. And sometimes I do find that actually it's shaped how I think, but I still have my own view on it, I'd like to just be able to write freely and not have to prove where I've got that from. Obviously, it's important to be able to produce the evidence of what you're talking about. You didn't just sit outside one day and make up a whole new story about, say, Orangi Tuapeka or something like that and what went down there. But, we hear so many stories from a very young age, or not stories, recollections, from a very young age and memories from our old people that, I just feel like that's the evidence. Those are and I have in my latest thing that I've written, I have kind of pointed in that direction that actually when my Uncle Len told me something, when I was a teenager, for me it was like, that's it. How far back do I have to go to prove that what he's told me is what it is? It's in my belief system now. And I'll remember that forever. And eventually I've read something else that's backed it up, in my 20s or something like that. But when I was writing about it, I just thought, when do we get to a point where we fully trust exactly what someone is writing? Like, I trust this person. I trust that they're not actually making it up. You can see through the rest of their writings and that there's evidence to back up the ear of the kōrero. So it's all interesting to me, because we are working, or we're in this space, and we're often talking about wanting to bring mātauranga Māori or Māori models of practice to light, but sometimes we're still stuck in that because we're still working to a Western framework sometimes, So those are the things that I struggle with, and sometimes I think I struggle with that because I'm not actually an academic. Like, maybe you don't struggle with that if you accept what academia is. So yeah, like for me, it's an internal battle all the time. Like, am I supposed to be doing this? But I am who I am. It is what it is, and it's always hard for me to try and fit into what it's supposed to look like. So yeah, Tams, it's been a trip,
but you
man.
do it so well.
It's been a trip.
And I actually think you are. I believe that you are very academic, and also what I'm excited about especially for our Uri of the Maunga and Ngārua Hine, is that they'll be able to read firsthand your experiences and those stories that Uncle Len and all of our Pākehā and our Tauki have fed to you from that perspective as well, and it will be very honest and very beautiful, and that it's going to be left there. For them to pick up later on down the track when we're dead and gone is pretty awesome. And I think about that when I think, oh man, I don't know why I am torturing myself doing this. I don't need a master's. It's not going to improve my life in the immediate, right this minute. It might not even improve my life at all in my lifetime, but it will be there for the kids and the unborn mukabuna to come. I've just got to keep reminding myself of that every time it gets a little bit tough. Like last night. But
yes, you did great. Like, congratulations, because I so fully relate to that grind. She messages me, whānau, at 11:53 p.m. We're both up doing the same thing, and she's like, oh my gosh, it's 11:53, I've got 7 minutes. I'm like, message me after 12 p.m, not during 7 minutes.
Message me after midnight, sis. And you always say it, too. You got this. And I always think, man, thank you, because I don't know if I got this. But yeah, that was a grind. I had 1 minute remaining, got it in. Well, that's it for 2021 for the Masters things. For those of you considering doing it, make a really good decision though, because there's going to be some sacrifice. Also, you're going to be absent a bit from birthdays, celebrations, certain kaupapa. I'm just telling you, because even if you're going online to do your wānanga, you're still going to be absent from some things. And we've got some big decisions coming up for 2022 in terms of, whether we're going to be present or absent from certain things just to get this Masters done. So it is a full-on commitment. We're not going to water that down one little bit. We can't pretend that it's easy.
Yeah, it's not easy, team. So much reading. Oh my gosh, and that's another thing I struggle with. Reading, I really, I struggle with that. So my vocabulary too. Like, I'm always, I'm always pushing it when it comes to vocab. So all of that sort of stuff, I mean, this is a total learning opportunity. And I have a really short attention span too. I could be sitting in a wānanga, but my mind is in Italy eating pizza or something like that,
Oh, nice.
Easily distracted, short attention span. So it is a total commitment. If you want to do the best you can do, like, that's a thing. And I would say, if you're going to do this, don't do it half-heartedly. Like, I can honestly say that I could have done better. I honestly can say that I could have done so much better. Sometimes it's not cool when you're kind of getting to this age and you're not putting out your best mahi. It's your own internal thing. yeah, that's me. That's my own internal thing that I'm like, man, I know I could have done better with that.
On that, sis. Not my best work, definitely not. But I won't say it's terrible, but it's not my. Yeah, we could have done better if we weren't doing other things. I don't know. It just starts to sound like an excuse, sis? But it is. It's the truth. But by the same token, you can still leave memoirs if you want to use your diaries. Leave journals like memoirs, etc. for your mokopuna. Kia anō, tēnā pē kua pau te wā kia tāua, ne sis. Kōrero noa, ai tapiri e nei kōrero kua tukuna ki te ao I tēnei ata?
Carl, just a reminder that there's a few clinics that are around at the moment. So, at Mawhao School, you can get in there, take the Endeavour Street entry and you'll pop out on Omata. If you need to get a drive-through test, also at 36 Maratahu Street, Tuiora, they have a drive-in clinic there. And out at Waitara, Ngāti Rahiri, in their office, they have a clinic in there too for vaccinations today. So just keep an eye out, whānau. Kia matara tātou. Down here, Ngā Ruahine in Manaia at the old St. Cuthbert's Church, we're nasal swabbing and we're saliva testing. And our whānau down in Pātea, you can be taken care of by Te Runanga Nui o Ngāti Ruanui. Nā reira, koira ngā mihi I tēnei wā I te whānau. Kia āhuru tonu ai te noo ki o koutou nei kāinga. Just good hygiene practices, whānau. That's what we need to be doing. Kia kaha tātou.
Oh, tēnā koe, sis. He wata anō rā tēnā koutou katoa I te iwi. Yeah, true. Lots happening, eh? Thank you very much for sharing where all the testing stations are and what everybody's doing. You know what, sis? My son left home at about 7:30 this morning. 7:30 maybe? 7:45, and he was like, Mummy, love you. I'm like, love you, thinking, because that's what he says when he wakes up. He's moved out of my bed, by the way. He was sharing room with Mummy for a month, but he's moved out and moved back to his old room now, and I'm pretty sad, but oh well. Anyway, he woke up this morning, he's like, Mum, love you. I'm like, love you, my son. Then the door shut, and I jumped out of bed. And when I ran, he was going, and I was like, because I just stood here saying good morning. Yeah, I was like, no. But he was gone, and then I texted him, and he didn't reply. And then I clicked, oh my gosh, he's gone to Mahi. So him and Awa, Wano, those two, yeah, they've been awesome. They've been a part of the Te Aranga crew, the Iwi crew collective, who have been out and about talking with our wano in the communities, knocking on doors, and things like that. It's just been an amazing thing to watch. Both in the south and north, watching the wano and the iwi and the community response to take on this COVID-19 pandemic. On the front line, sis, you and our wano there, Ngā Ruahine, Warren and the crew, the Ngā Ruahine Iwi Health, services, you guys, you live here. I see you, and I want to send a big mihi to all of the wano there. You're our unsung heroes a lot of the time as well, and I know what you do. And it's just beautiful. So ngā mihi kia koutou. And then our wānau Ngāti Ruanui. It really is our iwi that are doing this. We're not waiting for whatever traffic lights and bridges you built with the traffic lights or whatever. We're there. You've been there from the get-go back in March last year, 2020. And it's still carried on. Now it's December 2021. How's that been for you all, sis, just before you go?
Well, so I work for Tūtama as well. So last year in the lockdown, we carried, we were essential workers, so we carried on. But Ngā Ruahine and Ngāti Ruanui, they've popped up. They've been popping up for near on 2 years now with their clinics. And you know what? It's a selfless group of people. Everyone just wants to be on that front line. Feeling productive, purposeful, practicing safely. It's actually really been a complete privilege for me to be on the ground with this crew down here and for us all to be working together down this way too, and with our cousins up in the north there. You feel quite proud of everybody. I mean, Te Korimako is playing a huge part in this too. It's just, yeah, it's been awesome, man. And you feel like you trust what's going on. The strategy that's in place is trustworthy. It's tried, it's tested, it's working. And yeah, just trying to, yeah, I don't know. They're cool crew down here, man. Like, just hard workers. It's a ringaropa, man. Like, yeah, you're not coming down here for a rest. That's the feeling I always get. Like, you're putting your best foot forward every single day. So, yeah, it's a really cool bunch to be around. Definitely. Heoi anō. Look, we've basically had a kōniahi kōrero session for this one. It's been awesome.
Yeah, I reckon. I mean, lots to catch up on, and you know, considering the time that we're in at the moment, yeah, just beautiful to be able to share kōrero with our wānau. Thank you, Taorangi. Well, lots of love to you and all of our wānau there, all of our aunties, uncles, cousins, and nieces and nephews there in the south. E korepanga me kia koutou e oku pāke o te tonga. Hua nora, e mihi ana kia koutou katoa to our wānau here, you know. I might be here in the north, but I honestly just hardly ever see anyone. So I'm sending everyone love. All of our maunga, our wānau over in Australia. I saw the messages coming through from Dee and the wānau over in Adelaide as well. We're sending you all love. No matter where you are in the world, tēnei te tuku I te arohanui kia koutou. No reira, tautoko puahawi ngā kōrero a te Aorangi ki koutou. Kia āneanea te noo I te aurutanga o koutou ware. I tēnei wā o te au roku. Engari kia mai tonu e tātou mā, kia mai e roto I ngā aupiki me ngā aweke o te wā. And like Taorangi always says, kia manawa piarau, kia manawa titi tātou. To all of you sitting exams or your final examinations, maybe on the grind for your final assignments, piki maunga tā ngai. Ki koutou, piki maunga tā ngai. Hua nora, mā ngāri ki te wai ngaro. Koutou tātou tai e manaki. Ai waka kapi ake rere hau, pai marire.
Ka te.